Welcome back, my friends. Let's continue our journey into the incredible world of visual diagnosis. In our first lecture, we learned how to read a person's health through their smell, their hair, their posture, and their hands. But today we are going to do something even more fascinating. Today we are going to look at your face, your eyes, your mouth, and your daily habits. I will teach you how to read the human body like a detailed medical map. Of course, before we begin, I must remind you of our standard disclaimer. Today we're discussing alternative and folk diagnostic methods. This knowledge is incredibly useful for understanding your body, but it does not replace professional medical advice or clinical tests. Our goal is to spot the warning signs and learn how to help our bodies naturally. Let's start by looking at the hands one more time. Suppose you look at a person's fingers and the entire finger is swollen. Not just the joint, but the whole finger. This indicates rheumatoid arthritis. But what if only the joints are enlarged? That is gouty arthritis. And here is the harsh truth. It is absolutely useless to treat any arthritis, psoriasis, or severe skin conditions with pills if you do not change the patient's diet. If you want your treatment to be effective, you must put the patient on a very strict diet. You must absolutely forbid spicy foods, smoked meats, sausages, chocolate, and sugar. And now, I am going to destroy a massive myth. A lot of people think, oh, I have diabetes or I have pancreas issues, so I shouldn't eat sugar. I will eat honey instead. Friends, this is a fatal mistake. Do you know how much glucose is in regular sugar? About 7%. And do you know how much is in honey? 12%. Honey is 100 times more dangerous for a diabetic than any regular sugar. I recently had a patient, a young boy. His mother told me he doesn't eat anything sweet. I only give him green tea to lower his cholesterol, and I add 3 tablespoons of honey to it, 3 or 4 times a day. I looked at her and said, "Are you crazy? You are destroying his pancreas." His blood sugar never dropped below 11. If you have pancreatitis, drinking a glass of water with honey in the morning can cause a reactive attack that can literally kill you. Honey is only good for 2 things: if you have insomnia or if you have severe constipation, because it puts the bowel muscles into a deep tone. Otherwise, if you have high blood pressure or pancreatic issues, be extremely careful with honey. So how do we properly cleanse the body? Folk medicine gives us brilliant tools. Have you ever seen a child with dark, sunken circles under their eyes? People usually say, "Oh, they're not sleeping well," or "it's a kidney problem." Nonsense. Dark, sunken eyes in a child usually mean they are tormented by ascaris, by worms, especially at night. What is the easiest way to remove all types of worms from the body? Pure medical-grade white clay, also known as kaolin. White clay is the ultimate absorbent. It removes all parasites. If someone gets food poisoning, forget the harsh chemicals. Mix a spoonful of white clay in water. And here is a shocking fact. If you have someone in your family who struggles with alcohol addiction, give them a glass of water with white clay right in the middle of their drinking. I had a student whose husband drank heavily. I told her to give him white clay. The next day he came to me and said, "What kind of magic potion did you give me?" The hangover vanished instantly, the nausea stopped, and my desire to drink completely disappeared. It cleanses the body so deeply that the physical craving drops. But remember, you cannot take white clay if you have severe hypertension. Another great tool for cleansing is magnesia salts. Once a week in the morning, taking a glass of water with magnesia dissolves gallstones, removes cholesterol, and perfectly flushes allergens out of the body. It is vastly superior to castor oil, which doesn't open the gallbladder properly and can weaken your intestines over time. Now let's move to the main topic of today, the face. The color of a person's face tells a profound story. A very pale face indicates anemia. A red face, that's allergies or hypertension. A yellow face, tumors of the pancreas or a blocked gallbladder. An atypical greenish tint, kidney failure. A gray face, pancreatitis. And if it's a gray face with dark spots on the cheeks, you are looking at diabetes and cholecystitis. Let's break down the face into a map, starting with the forehead. Your forehead is the exact mirror of your intestines and your organs. If you see a red line right at the edge of the hair, that's cystitis or kidney problems. If there is flaking skin there, it's a hyperfunction of the reproductive glands. The body is producing hormones that aren't being used, and it needs calming down. What if a person has red pimples right at the bottom of the forehead, just above the bridge of the nose? That is a clear sign of an infection in the small intestine. Dysbiosis. Look just above the eyebrows. If it's dark or red right above the eyebrows, that indicates a problem with the gallbladder. And if the temples are dark, that's the liver. You see, bladder, small intestine, large intestine, gallbladder, and liver, all mapped out right on your forehead. Let's move down to the cheeks. Put your fingers right next to your nose, on both sides. If you see deep redness in these areas, write this down. This is a 100% sign of hypertension, but sometimes the redness starts on the cheeks and connects all the way down to the chin, forming a large red letter O on the face. If you blur your vision slightly, you can clearly see this letter O. This is a massive red flag. This red O is a sign of an autoimmune blood infection, often caused by rheumatism, lupus, or a severe staphylococcus infection. What about the nose? If the nose is very white but incredibly greasy, it points to heart disease, liver disease, and very high cholesterol. If the nose is blue or bright red, the person might be dangerously close to a heart attack. If you see tiny red dots all over the cheeks, that's a tendency for asthma. And what if a person constantly gets furuncles or boils on their face? If they are near the liver area, it's herpes virus or hepatitis. But if the furuncles form a pattern, like a mask over the face, that is often an indicator of epilepsy, triggered by a viral infection that started in the gut or liver and is now affecting the brain. Remember, diseases always travel upwards in the body, from the gut to the brain. Now, let's look at the lips. Did you know that your lips represent your digestive tract? The upper lip is your pancreas. If the upper lip is always tense and swollen, or if there is a white line above it, it's a clear sign of pancreatitis. The right corner of the lips is your gallbladder. If it's constantly cracking or baking in the right corner, your gallbladder is infected or blocked. If it cracks in the left corner, you have extremely high stomach acidity. If a person's lower lip is constantly tense and tight, they likely suffer from chronic constipation. And if you get a cold sore, herpes, pay attention to where it appears. On the right side of the lower lip, inflammation of the duodenum. On the left side, inflammation of the sigmoid colon. And the chin? The chin is all about the reproductive system. A bright red chin means an inflamed prostate in men and uterus or ovary inflammation in women. If the redness is shifted to the left, it's the left ovary. Shifted to the right ovary. It's that precise. Next, let's talk about teeth. We all live in a society that worships Hollywood smiles. Everyone wants perfectly white, glowing teeth. But did you know that in ancient Tibetan medical books, it is written, if a girl has perfectly white teeth, do not take her as a wife, she will not bear children. Sounds crazy, right? But it's not. Perfectly white, shiny teeth are actually a sign of severe liver damage and a closed gallbladder. Why? Because a healthy person's teeth should always have a slight yellowish tint. This tint is created by the bile produced by a healthy liver, which naturally colors the dent and bone. So if your teeth are naturally a bit yellow, be happy. You will live much longer than those with unnaturally white teeth. And please, stop trying to bleach your teeth with chemicals. You are just destroying your natural bone color. And what about the tongue? Stick out your tongue and look in the mirror. If it has a thick white coating, that's pancreatitis and dysbiosis. If you scrape that white coating off in the morning and it smells terrible, like something rotting, You are developing a bacterial infection in your pancreas. If the coating is greenish, your body is releasing too much bile. If it's grayish, you have very high stomach acidity. If you have a geographic tongue with weird patches, you urgently need to do an anti-parasite cleanse. And here is a secret sign. Ask the person to stick their tongue straight out. There is a line running down the middle of the tongue. If that line is crooked, broken, or sharply shifted to the left or right, you are likely dealing with someone who has deep psychological issues, neurosis, or a severe mental disorder. I once spoke to a woman claiming to be a medical professional, but her tongue line was completely crooked. Later, I found out she had been a psychiatric patient for decades. Now, let's talk about the windows to the soul, the eyes. If your eyes are constantly swollen and red, you simply lack sleep. But if the whites of your eyes have a grayish, dull tint instead of a bright bluish white, your body is severely dehydrated. Many people suffer from dry eyes, dry mouth, and dry nasal passages. Do you know what causes this? Anemia. And this anemia usually happens because of high acidity or damage in the duodenum. That is exactly where our body absorbs iron. If your gut is damaged, your body dries out. If you have bulging eyes, that is a classic sign of an underactive thyroid. But if the eyes look sunken, as if pulling back into the skull, that points to sclerosis of the coronary vessels and the development of cataracts. Listen carefully. I want to give you a crucial piece of advice. If you are highly stressed, nervous, or agitated, and your eyes start to itch, do not rub them. Never rub your eyes with your hands or a tissue when you are stressed. When you are agitated, your intraocular pressure spikes. The capillaries become extremely fragile. If you rub your eye, it's like taking sandpaper to the delicate tissues. You will literally crush and deform your eyes. If you feel like there is a speck of dust, close your eyes and gently massage the eyelid from the top. Never rub an open eye. For those suffering from high eye pressure or glaucoma, folk medicine has an interesting trick. Did you know you can take standard blood pressure pills, like enalapril or metoprolol, crush them into a fine powder, mix them into a 5% saline solution, and use them as eye drops? Taking pills orally doesn't always reach the eye, but applying the blood pressure medication directly to the eye can relieve intraocular hypertension brilliantly. Another miracle for the eyes and the body is propolis drops, made through a complex hot alcohol distillation process. It removes the harmful waxes, but keeps the powerful saponins. These drops can treat glaucoma, intestinal diverticulosis, and even severe inflammation. Before we finish, I must share a secret about papillomas and skin tags. Have you ever noticed people getting those little hanging moles, especially around their neck, armpits, or belly? Papillomas on the torso are a direct sign of pancreatitis and very high stomach acid. If you lower the acidity in the gut, these papillomas literally dry up and fall off. And those tiny white hanging moles, they appear in areas where your lymphatic system is inflamed and needs stimulation. If they are under the arms, stimulate the breasts. In the groin, stimulate the reproductive organs. On the neck, stimulate the thyroid. Finally, I want to leave you with a profound thought on healing. There is an incredible substance called chlorophyll. If you take liquid chlorophyll, it fills your body with oxygen. Cancer cells, tumors, and severe infections hate oxygen. They survive by blocking it. By taking high doses of chlorophyll and exposing the affected area of the body to a specific daylight lamp, you create a massive oxygen reaction right inside the diseased tissue. This powerful oxidation can literally destroy tumors and malignant nodes from the inside out. But remember the words of the great ancient physician, Avicenna. He said, "A healer is not just someone who helps. A healer is someone who puts the rule, do no harm, above everything else." Modern medicine often acts like Russian roulette. We create pills that are 1,000 times more powerful than before. Patients demand instant relief, but highly effective abrasive treatments often cure one thing while destroying another. Our goal is not to shock the body. Our goal is to gently cleanse it, support it, and read the beautiful complex signals it gives us every single day. Take care of yourselves, listen to your body, and never stop learning. Subscribe, leave a comment, and stay healthy.